Hey, hi, howdy, and hello. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Argue, a series that I shamelessly ripped from Anthony Fantano. The gist of it is I had you, my subscribers, give me your hottest takes on Godzilla, film, TV, music, anything you want. Adam Wingard took away MonsterVerse Godzilla's character as a guardian and a force of nature and genuinely turned him into a prick, and we should have the King of the Monsters personality back. In fact, we need Michael Dougherty back to the MonsterVerse. I think he deserves another chance to do what he had envisioned for a Godzilla prequel. You can hate on King of the Monsters all you want, but Michael actually knows how to do Godzilla's character right compared to Wingard. I think that a lot of the issues people have with Adam Wingard as a director, again, I have no issue with this guy whatsoever personally. He seems like a chill dude. He seems awesome. But a lot of the issues that I've seen people have with Adam Wingard is his characterization of Godzilla. A lot of people say that he hates Godzilla. I completely disagree. I just think that his characterization of Godzilla was more of just like a brute who just wants to be left alone, and he'll, f you up if you try to mess with him. He is kind of a prick in Godzilla X Kong, but still, I don't know. I think that he made Godzilla more human, if that makes sense. In King of the Monsters, he barely had any characterization, was just sort of this one-note, one-dimensional, like, I gotta protect Earth and humanity, and that's it. And I feel like with Adam Wingard, he added more dimension to Godzilla. And, my issues with Adam Wingard as a director with these movies definitely lean more towards his sense of scale. I think that it's, it pales in comparison to the other MonsterVerse movies, but that's not related to this hot take. So I have to say I disagree completely. Joker 2 was not a bad movie. People are mad because it was a musical and about Arthur learning that he can't be the agent of chaos everyone wants him to be. He's just a mentally ill loader who just wants people to be nice to him, and the music numbers do make sense in universe because you can infer that it's all happening inside of Arthur's head. I haven't seen Joker 2 yet, so I'm not going to say whether or not it's a bad movie because I haven't given it a fair shot. I know that when I do see it, I'm going to be open-minded about it. Personally, I love musicals. In case you didn't know, I was a theater kid throughout all of high school, so I've done my fair share of musicals. And I appreciate them too. I know that it's a turnoff for a lot of people, but I absolutely adore musicals, so I have no problem with this film taking that angle, especially when you consider that the golden age of Hollywood they're sort of trying to mimic very much had a lot of musicals at that point in time, so it's kind of impossible to ignore that aspect of it if you're paying homage to it. Another thing that I do really appreciate from what I've heard is that, I can't think of the director of the film, Todd Phillips. Todd Phillips wanted to do this and did it outside of the studio's mandates. The studio had no say in it, and I love that aspect of it. It already has positive points in my brain because it was made without studio interference, and that's fantastic. Where I am a bit iffy on the movie, and I guess the concept of the movie, because again, I haven't seen it yet, so these are just sort of my preliminary thoughts. I don't like that it was made sort of with malice towards people who enjoyed the first film. I think that anytime you make a movie that is designed to piss a certain group of people off, I think that you're already kind of in the red, you're already kind of failing at making an entertaining movie. With The Last Jedi, that one tried to, subvert audience expectations, and I feel like Joker tried to do kind of the same thing. And again, I haven't seen Joker 2 yet. I'm just clarifying my preliminary thoughts. But what I'm saying is, I don't like when movies take that sort of direction of we are better than the audience. It's no, you're not. You're not better than the audience. I think that all filmmakers, when they make a movie, should put themselves in the shoes of audience members and think, hey, you know what? The audience is smarter than I think they are. So I think they should go from that angle. And I am kind of worried that this movie is a giant, spit in the face towards everyone that liked the first Joker movie. Personally, I felt it was kind of, I thought the performance was great in the first one from Joaquin Phoenix. But for the most part, it was just kind of a retread of Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, which, I know, only, brave opinions here on this channel. But Kamacuras and Kumonga are the worst kaiju. Yeah, I think other than Giant Condor and some of those the giant octopus from King Kong versus Godzilla, Kumonga and Kamacuras are pretty boring. They're just giant bugs, and that's it. It's very one note and unoriginal. I do like though with Kumonga the Final Wars design where it's black with these like yellow stripes. I think that's very visually appealing to look at, and I really dig that. But yeah, otherwise, they're very boring kaiju. Restricted Zone and Anomalous Archives are great movies and all, but I can't help but worry that the kaiju audience on YouTube is shaping your filmmaking too much. I'm not trying to be harsh, but it feels like most of your recent work leans heavily into horror or kaiju themes. I miss the unique creativity of your 2022 films like Polka and Career Minor Leaguer, which were such original no-budget gems. I've noticed that 9 out of the 13 shorts you've released this year have been horror projects. No hate at all, just hoping to see a bit more variety in your filmography. Yeah, I guess I have been doing a lot of horror projects as of late. A lot of that has to do just with budget. It's harder to produce projects like Career Minor Leaguer than, your typical horror fare. With Career Minor Leaguer, that was like 5 days worth of filming, and the budget for that was like 7 times higher than any other horror project. Actually, the budget for Career Minor Leaguer was the exact same as the Anomalous Archives, and the Anomalous Archives is a full feature-length film, while Career Minor Leaguer was just like, I think it's like a 6-minute long short film. Don't get me wrong, though. I do partially agree with you. I do think that I should be moving away towards horror just temporarily to work on some other projects and to kind of diversify, my portfolio and whatnot. I am right now working on my senior thesis film for university, and that is an action comedy time travel movie. So it has nothing to do with horror. There are no horror elements whatsoever. So that should be out next month. Well, it will be out because it's due next month. So anyways, what I'm getting at is you will appreciate that project, I think at least. And moving into 2025, I hope to do more fun projects like that, more comedies, and moving away from horror, I guess, and doing stuff that isn't really scary and just making stuff more for me. Moneyball, the Brad Pitt movie, has aged horribly. The Oakland A's are moving to Sacramento and later Vegas, and the 2 richest teams in the MLB just duked it out in the World Series. I don't really think that's Moneyball's fault. I think that's just the fact that MLB teams have adapted. They've learned, okay, we're going to go on OBP, we're going to go on WAR, we're going to go more in depth on these specific statistics and give money to those guys, because that's just how it kind of works. Those players have higher value. Shohei Ohtani, regardless of Moneyball, would still be considered one of the best players currently playing in the MLB and would have had a giant contract regardless of Moneyball. So I don't think that really affects the film itself. Rather, the whole concept of Moneyball, I guess, is affected. But the movie works fine as is. I mean, when you consider the film's ending, it is kind of dour. It's this vibe of, well, okay, they never won the World Series, but Boston did in only a couple of years. Boston, at that time, and still does, I guess, has more money than Oakland. So, of course, they were going to win it using Oakland's strategy because they just had more assets to them. So, no, hard disagree. Well, that about wraps everything up. I'm Cole McCormick. You're watching Firewood Media. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.